Very shortly we are going to turn right and head back towards the West End. Shortly we will pass underneath the covered walkway which links the events campus to the railway station over to the left. On the sides of the covered walkway you'll see Glasgow's current slogan. This is People Make Glasgow. And we do hope you find it in case while you've been visiting the city. The station is over on the left hand side, and when the station opened in the late 1970s it was named Finiston Station. With the growth of the events campus, the station name was changed to reflect this, and it's now Exhibition Centre Station. We'll see just underneath the bridges, we'll get a little bit further along, underneath the bridges we will just see a little bit of the station itself. The area we're about to enter is known as Finiston. This is named after. Now when there are multiple events on at the events campus, this can attract crowds of over 20,000 people. So the station down on our left hand side at the moment gets very, very busy, as the car park itself only has spaces for 1,600 cars. Just coming up on the right hand side of the bus you'll see the modern Sky Park building. This is home to smaller companies and offices. And ahead of the bus you may be able to make out the golden dome of the Sikh Gurdwara. This is the largest Sikh temple in Scotland, but I will say Lord Duke of Argyll, his funeral procession passed along here in 1761. Now we're about to turn right onto Argyll Street, and I will say more about Glasgow's tenement buildings on our left hand side when we get into Woodlands Road in a few minutes time. Just coming up ahead of the bus, it will be on the right hand side very shortly, we have the green statue of Charles Rennie Mackintosh. This statue was unveiled in 2018 on the 90th anniversary of his death, just on our right hand side now. And you can see many examples of his work at the Kelvin Grove Art Gallery Museum, and also the Mackintosh at the Volunteeriums on St Paul Street. This statue was by the sculptor Andy Scott, who also designed the Kelpies sculpture out beside Newcastle. And just while I'm on the subject of other UK cities, recently a poll was conducted in the UK to try to finally settle the debate of which is the second city of the UK. Birmingham said it was Birmingham, Manchester said it was Manchester, Liverpool said it was Liverpool, and Glasgow said it was London. These larger bricks coming up on the left were required. The foundation stone for this building on the left was laid in 1907 by Andrew Flanagan. And cross when we come back to the city centre in about 15 or 20 minutes time. Very shortly we are going to enter Woodlands Road. Along here first you will see examples of the red sandstone tenement buildings, and a bit further along the blonde sandstone. The blonde sandstone was quarried locally to the Glasgow area, but when this started to run out we had to look further afield. And the red sandstone comes from Ayrshire and Frayshire. Glasgow's tenements were built between 3 and 5 stories high, and no taller than the width of the street below, and this was in case of any building collapse. And if you look closely at the blonde tenement buildings coming up on the right, you will notice that some of the windows have been filled in. In Scotland between 1748 and 1851, a tax was applied to the number of windows on the buildings. Simply to cut down on the cost of some of the taxes, the owners filled in some of the windows. This is the origin of the term daylight robbery, as the people inside were robbed of some of their daylight. Our next stop is stop 13 from Kelvin Grove Park and the old schoolhouse. Glasgow, per head of population, has more parks and green spaces than any other city in Europe. The name Glasgow itself can be translated as Dear Green Place. Now on a nice day like today, it's a lovely walk through the park. It's here you'll find the open air bandstand where concerts are held during the summer months, and also the suffrage oak tree. This tree was planted in 1918 when women in Britain were given a limited vote for the first time. This tree will be found bedecked in the colours of the suffragette movement. These are purple for loyalty and dignity, white for purity, and green for hope. We're just about to pass over the top of the River Kelvin, running from our right hand side down to the left, where it meets up with the River Clyde at the Riverside Museum. We're now heading for stop number 14 for the Mackintosh House, Hunterian Art Gallery and Museum, and Glasgow University campus. There is a charge to enter the Mackintosh House, and it's free to visit the Hunterian and the campus. If you do visit University campus, please take time to visit the cloisters. It's a fantastic photo opportunity, and near the cloisters is the 3 Squares Gyratory sculpture by American artist George Rickey. And there is now the small building coming up on our left is the Pierce Lodge. This was the gateway to the university when it was on the High Street, and this small building on the left was moved here stone by stone by the firm of Morrison Mason, the same firm which built the City Chambers and the Queen's Gallery. And coming the right hand side, built in the style of a Greek temple. Now the spire on top of the university building is a later addition. It was designed by one of George Gilbert Scott's sons, a John Smith builder. He was the first African American to be awarded a medical degree by Glasgow University. And the building just beyond this, adjacent to it, is the Boyd Orr building. John Boyd Orr was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1949 for his work in nutrition. As I said, shortly we will turn left onto Myers Road, heading for stop 15 on the West End, and it will be found changed to the bar. That, of course, is not true. There was a change of policy, and in recent years, many of the managers of the bar have been ladies. This is now stop number 15. Itself, we're unaware that there was a church on this street on the hospital grounds. So the Alexander Memorial Chapel is just in the gap between this next two buildings on the left-hand side. Kelvin Grove Art Gallery Museum building is just coming into the head of the bus. And it's a well-known story in Glasgow that this building was built back to front and that the architect committed suicide when this was discovered. This is simply an urban myth on the left-hand side there. But in actual fact, when we pass when we leave stop 16 and pass the museum building, look back over your left-hand shoulder and you'll absolutely the best view of the university's main building. The Kelvin Grove Art Gallery Museum. Get ready to look back over your left-hand shoulder for absolutely the best view of Glasgow University's main building at the top of the left. And it's coming into view just about now. Down below us at the moment at street level we have the bowling greens and the tennis courts. And if you're feeling energetic while you're in Glasgow, you can come to the park here and hire the equipment for a game of bowls or for a few sets of 10. As you swing around to the left, coming up on the left-hand side you'll see Royal Crescent. This was built for the professional class of Glasgow in the Victorian times. But you may well notice that the architectural style is actually Georgian, just coming up on the left-hand side now. And when we get to the next set of traffic lights, if you look down the street on the right-hand side, it's here you'll see the Golden Dome and the Pink Sandstone building, which is Scotland's largest Sikh temple. The pink sandstone for this building was imported from India, and the building itself is open to the public 7 days a week. If you do visit, you will receive a warm welcome, and you will also be offered free of charge its wife and mother-in-law by the use of poison. As I said back at Glasgow Green, this was the last public hanging on Glasgow Green itself in 1865, attracting a crowd of over 18,000 people. And as I said, he murdered his mother-in-law as well as his wife. And at this point of the tour, I usually ask if there are any sons-in-law on the bus who would like a mother-in-law joke and just have a word with me at the end of the tour. Now when we pass the tree line over on the left-hand side here, you will see the 27-foot high terracotta fountain, no longer a working fountain. This is in honour of Sir Charles Cameron. He was an MP for 21 years in the late 1800s. You will notice that this little fountain on our left-hand side now leans slightly to one side in a drunken manner, and this is highly ironic. He was a leading campaigner of the temperance movement. Now when we So just coming up on the left of the bus is Glasgow's first skyscraper, the cream at Beresford building. This opened in 1930. It was at the Beresford Hotel that John F. Kennedy gave his first public speech at the age of 22. He came to stop number 19. This is a stop for the School of Art building and for the Macintosh at the Volunteerians on Sunday. Many people consider the School of Art building to have been Macintosh's masterpiece, but sadly it suffered from 2 major fires within a 5-year period. And when we pass the next side street on the left-hand side, if you look up the hill, you will see the scaffolding which surrounds the School of Art building. It is hoped it will fully reopen in the late 2024. It's just up to the left-hand side now. And just coming up ahead of us, we will be leaving Sutton Hall Street as it becomes pedestrianised. This is the northern tip of the Golden Z of Glasgow shopping, linking with Buchanan Street and Argyle Street. But just as we get ready to leave Sutton Hall Street, I'm reminded of the story of the Glasgow policeman. He had actually moved to Glasgow from the Highlands to join the police force, and he was a big burly lad. And this was back in the days when horses and carts were a regular sight on the city streets. And one evening he came across a dead horse on Sutton Hall Street. He was a bit concerned about compiling a report which would require the spelling of Sutton Hall Street. So he simply dragged the horse round this corner onto Rosie Street, which made the turn in the 1850s as the Royal Scottish Academy of Music and Drama. Famous alumni from these establishments include David Tennant, previous Doctor Who, and Richard Madden. Also in the 1960s, Jack Bruce, who founded the group Cream with Ginger Baker and Eric Clapton. So the Conservatoire is the orange brick building on our left-hand side at the moment. And as we pass through the traffic lights in a moment heading for stop number 21, if you look up Hope Street to the left, on this right-hand corner we have the Pavilion Theatre, one of our remaining variety theatres. And this theatre on our right-hand side has a retractable roof as they pass underneath. Its nickname is Running Out of Time. Now this is now stop 21. For the shops over to our right and the bus station on our left. Also over to the left. So just coming up ahead of us we have George Square again. And we will be turning left at the traffic lights and coming back to stop number 1. Again, if you're leaving us here, thanks for being with us today. You are welcome to stay on board. We will leave again at 4:45. So you have to let the drivers know if you want off or you want back on. And we're now climbing the hill or drumlin of North Frederick Street. This is named after the second son of Angels Uncles, which you'll see shortly. Down by the River Clyde we have the St Andrew's Roman Catholic Cathedral, and in the West End we have St Luke's and St Mary's. These are Greek Orthodox and Episcopal. The Episcopal Cathedral was designed by George Gilbert Scott, and we have a young lady student from Strathclyde University on board the bus at the moment. This is our second university. It got its Royal Charter in 1964. Previously on the site had been the Anderson's Institute, dating back to the 1790s. Famous alumni from the Institute include John Logie Baird, the inventor of the television, And
excellent setting, you get anime with trouble with acid sprays. See, Glasgow men invented ultrasound scans for pregnant women. And finally, if you watch the Zygoni's accident and emergency programs, you often hear the paramedics mentioning the GCS, that's the Glasgow Coma Scale. It's a scale by which the severity of head injuries is measured. The Glasgow itself started in the year 543 with a man called Kentigern came to the east coast of the village called Kuros, and he's very popular. He would get the saints and humble his students in the cathedral or church, with various miracles that form parts of our closing arms. You can see them also in the lampposts, the bird, the tree, the bell, the fish. The statue on the left, Dr. David Livingstone explored Africa, and on the left, St. Margaret's Museum of Religious Life and Art. It's free. One building you can't see at the moment is Providence Lordship, it's just there on the right. That is undergoing renovations. Glasgow's oldest house. I just checked the bus stop until the bus times. The last bus round here is until about 7:30 minutes.
A good and important parade inventors, industrialists from the past, well over 50,000 former citizens remain. Here on the left-hand side is Tennant's Brewery, founded by Hugh and Robert Tennant. They have been brewing here for over 450 years, and they supplied all of Prince Charlie's army. Back in the day, with beer was what they produced initially. Down to the left here is Denniston, everyone. November 1891, William Frederick Cody came to Denniston along to your left as part of his Worldwide West show. It was a sellout show every night back then. The Lakota Sioux Indian Nation members were present, Annie Oakley was present, and City Girls nephew Charging Thunder were all behind us in Denniston in November 1891. On the right above, before the modern apartments were here, stood the Duke Street prison, where approximately 12 executions by lightning took place. One of them was the name of Susan Mule, accused of murdering a paper boy who was rich back in the day of her existence. Three is your next stop. On the gable ends of many of the buildings, they have depictions of various scenes of the high street. To name but a few, Robert Burns' eldest son was crowned back in the day. Gallowgate means the way to the gallows, Oswald soon. At one time on the right, there used to be a prison attached to the steeple, where the prisoners were held before they were taken to the gallows. You just remain seated, we'll get there soon. On the left in the centre is Nelson's column. This column in the centre of the green on the left is older than the column in Trafalgar Square, London, England, to the very brave man that he was, Admiral Lord Nelson. A third of the crew on Nelson's ships were actually Scottish. Many people don't know that. A third of the crew on his ships were Scottish. And he came from a town on the outskirts of Norfolk in England. Brave man he was, fought on to the end, was iron arm in battle. On the right, Nelson's column. Well, ladies and gentlemen, only Prince Charlie's army camped in this park from around the year of 1745-46. And it was this park one day, in the early 1800s, when James Watt was walking through it, came up with that idea of the separate condenser for the steam engine. As we turn, it's like no other fountain of its kind in the world, made of royal Bolton terracotta ahead. The Royal Bolton Fountain, with the colonies of South Africa, India, Canada, Australia, New Zealand surrounding the fountain ahead. At the top, the depiction of Queen Victoria holding the orb in hand, Empress of India, Michael Prince Albert at the top of the fountain on the left, and the lion's heads